Okay, Maryland looking for a better play in football than what we've seen in the last 10 or 15 years and return us to days of Ralph Friedgen and even before that. And with the recruiting class that just came in, there are definite substance to some of the hopes there in College Park. We bring in Ryan Connors from Testudo Times on SB Nation to break down the defensive secondary. Ryan, we always appreciate you coming on here. So we've got J.C. Jackson, one of the better players at his position, just coming off a freshman season where he wrapped up 46 tackles and a interception as well. Darnell Savage coming into a junior campaign, 59 tackles, led the defensive back. So kind of take it from there in regards to what we should see on the field in terms of the starting four and the guys that work into the mix.
Sure, yeah. So I think, Maryland from last year, they lost Will Likely, who's one of the, better players they've had, in recent memory at corner. They lost him right in the middle of the season, and, that definitely hurt them, but it, gave a couple other players a chance to shine. And Maryland, it's kind of interesting there. In DJ Durkin's first class, Maryland got a bunch of three-star guys, and a lot of them played as true freshmen last year. But now this year, coming in 2017, they have Deion Jones is going to be, he was their highest rated recruit until Anthony McFarland committed pretty late in the class. And he, he's rehabbing a knee injury, but I believe it's a knee injury. And he is enrolled early for spring practice and could take one of Maryland's either the nickel corner or outside corner spots, which one of them depends on whether Tino Ellis, who played some corner last year, ends up going back to wide receiver, because that's what he came to the program as. But, they're also losing Alvin Hill as a corner, and their safety spot was another senior last year, Denzel Conyers, before he got hurt, and Josh Woods played a lot of safety. And I think Markese Bell, who was one of the other really highly rated recruits they brought in, I think he comes in and starts at safety probably by the fall. We'll get to see him in the spring game as well, because he enrolled early. And there's going to be a lot of moving parts still, because Maryland plays 5 defensive backs. They play with the nickel corner almost at all times. And, there's a lot of players who saw time last year, and I think they're going to reevaluate everyone. And I think J.C. Jackson was the guy you mentioned. He came to Maryland he was at Florida, then was kicked off the team at Florida, played at junior college, then came to Maryland last year as a sophomore and played he definitely has the athletic talent to be really good for this team. And I think it's pretty possible that last year you saw him sort of wearing off some rust from really not playing consistent football in a game in a very long time. And he has the skills to be potentially probably the best corner Maryland has. It'll be interesting to see where he's at, when we see him in the spring game, when we see him in the fall.
Yeah, playing 5 defensive backs, obviously kind of the opposite position is what we talked about at linebacker in terms of depth and what you need, because but it puts you in a position on third down and long downs to match up against slot receivers and have less mismatches than what most teams have to face. And considering the type of talent that DJ Durkin hauled in this recruiting class, and especially in defensive backfield, looking at Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and specifically in Maryland, it's really impressive to see that just about all the guys that you mentioned, Bell, Jones, and Woods in particular, ranked in the top 5 in their state, top 20 type players at their position. Certainly Markese Bell, one of the best athletes in the country, rated number 7, according to 247 Sports at that category, you might want to call it. But Jones and Woods, number 13, number 22 cornerbacks, according to 247. So the talent is definitely there, and you definitely need it out in space in this conference against the kind of talent that is going to be out there on the other side.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, there's a couple other guys I didn't even mention yet. Fofi Bazzi, who he enrolled early and is a local guy. He's a 3-star. Alex Woods, junior college guy, and Kenny Bennett, who's another corner from Philly. And, with the influx of just a lot of players they got last year, some of those 3-star guys might not play as true freshmen. They might. The Daniels twins, Elijah and Elisha Daniels, they they saw a lot of time last year, and I imagine they'll be back as true sophomores. And this secondary, I think, a couple of years ago, they were only pulling in maybe one recruit a year in the secondary. And so coming into last year, the secondary was a big concern because they really they weren't getting the bodies in there. They weren't getting the, high quality talent that they're really going to need to match up in the Big Ten. But, this year, and definitely I think by 2018, you're going to see the secondary be one of the, most, the deepest unit on this team, and potentially with guys like Jackson and Deion Jones and Markese Bell and Darnell Savage, who was, he played as a true freshman, and now by the time he's a junior, he's going to have so much experience and be one of the better players on this team. I think the secondary is going to be potentially one of the best, probably the best unit on this team by 2018.
Yeah, and if they develop a little quicker than that, and we see that kind of play this fall, look out, Trace McSorley, JT Barrett, Wilton Spate. You're going to have to face these guys this year, and there's a lot of them. Are they all going to turn out? Most likely not, but when you're able to reel in 5 or 6 guys that are highly rated at their position, you hope that 3/4 of them turn out, so you get 4 out of 6 or something in that range that turn out to be impact players, and then you've got something working. All right, we got Ryan Connors on the line from Testudo Times, break it down Maryland football. We've knocked out defensive line, linebackers, and defensive backs in recent segments. So we'll continue to get you set for Maryland spring practice on March the 14th. Ryan, we always appreciate the time.
Glad to be here.